Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning into another Supatease video, and I cannot believe this specialization has not been nerfed. I got 2400 rating in Solo Shuffle in less than 100 rounds. This is the fastest that I have cleared the Solo Shuffle challenges, period. It is absolutely dominating, absolutely overpowered, and absolutely should be abused by you because the season is about to end and you are going to miss out on some pretty awesome rewards like the Shadow Flame Weapon Glow. There's limited edition titles, possibly even going for Gladiator because this specialization is so bulletproof with so many options. I don't know how you haven't picked it up at this point. If you haven't, I never touched it before, and again, basically in one day or less than a day cleared 2400. So this is the best specialization you are going to get. In today's video, I'm going to be running down what I'm doing to be able to achieve success and victory so that you can take away these tips and skip even the initial learning phase of this specialization just right off the rip and probably be like 500 rating higher than if you didn't watch this video, that type of value. So one of the main things that you're focusing here on the augmentation evoker is your ebb and might and then spamming eruption to keep their buffs up. One thing that you bring to the table, which a lot of other specializations don't, is this: the fire breath with scouring flame honor talent. Now, Resto Druid's one of the most popular healers and strongest healer at the moment, so you have a direct counter to that. You fully charge your fire breath and you will strip all of their buffs. Now we've got our ebb and might, so we're going to go back to spamming eruption and lobbying in our instant living flames between as we can. We end up getting cycloned here, so we're not going to be able to get too much going for our team at the moment, but that would be our main goal, is to get ebb and might and then spam eruption to keep it going. We lose the buff, but it's not really a big deal at this point. We've got our fire breath coming off cooldown. We've got eruption coming off cooldown, upheaval coming off cooldown. And upheaval, this is a big smack of damage. Charge it up, double 2-tap, fire breath, fully channeled, strip all the hots, massive damage, and that Resto Druid is now put really far behind and in a tough position because my Warlock's going to be rotting down the entire team. Augmentation Evoker is really good with a lot of classes, especially in a melee DPS. We got our ebb and might. We're spamming out eruption, living flames, instant living flames. Look how much instant cast damage that we're doing at this point. Everybody's dying. We're swapping off the bark skin. We're going onto the feral druid. We force bark skin now onto the feral druid. Get a little landslide route onto the warrior. Druid's in a stun. Blessed protection comes out. Not really necessary on us here at this point, but we're just keeping ebb and might up for the lock. We jump over for verdant embrace and get a heal. Toss out some living flames. Get the warlock topped, and now we've got our big dragon breath through the sky. So we're going to try and hit as many people as we can and move towards the healer. We're going to turn around, hard cast upheaval, one charge, boom, into a tip the scales fire breath, and everybody is dead. That is the one-shot combo. That is the most important component of this video right now, is the fly in with the dragon breath. Then go for upheaval, one stack charge because you want to get off as soon as possible, into a tip that scales fire breath. This is going to be winning a significant amount of your games. This is going to be one of the most important components to the class. The next important component is blistering scales and making sure that this is on the target that is getting attacked. If it's not on the target getting attacked, you are not getting value out of it, and it's going to be one of your number one overall damage dealers. So identify who the target is and get your blistering scales on that as soon as possible. Ebb and might right off the rip, eruptions, getting charges going, get our hover up so we can spam eruption while moving in case we get line of sighted. We're going to interrupt incoming crowd control as we can, and now we've started to identify, hey, the feral's getting attacked. We need to get blistering scales up. This is going to give them a nice shield and redirect a bunch of cleave damage. Now we're going to toss out that fly through the air, try and hit 3 people with it, turn around, get ready for an upheaval, one charge. We end up going for a full charge, is the mistake. You should go for one charge, tip the scales fire breath. Every single target just lost all of their hots. Look how far behind the druid is at this point, trying to recover the warlock. Such a sick opener. We're going to use rescue, pull our ally to the top side of the ramp here and give ourselves a bit of a shield. We've got ebb and might coming off cooldown, so we're going to hover away from the warrior, try and kite a bit. We've got good defensive cooldowns with renewing blaze and wall, so we're just going to activate those, go for ebb and might with the aura mastery effect, and spam eruption. And this is just so much damage, like 100,000 non-crit 2 in a row, 100,000 non-crit 2 in a row, and I'm going to spam this button pretty much for the entire duration. They're just dead immediately. This thing is insane. It's absolutely insane. You need to be playing this specialization. We're jumping into the third round now of this lobby, which was my last one to push over 2400. We've got a warrior, same goal, hover in, ebb and might, get that up as soon as possible. Eruptions out. If we get interrupted, you can, break down shields or just spam Azure Strike for a slow, but we're trying to figure out who they're attacking. This one, I'm not sure 100% if it's going to be myself or the warrior or the druid. They got a lot of choices, but we're immediately just sending that Dragon's Breath flying through 2 targets, upheaval. We get kicked on upheaval, but what's interesting about upheaval Upheaval is it's like bugged or something. You can just immediately cast Upheaval again. So cast it, get kicked, it doesn't matter. Cast Upheaval again, and then tip the scales Fire Breath. We stripped off any buffs that they got, any glimmers from the Paladin. We forced both major defensive cooldowns right in the opener, and we're just immediately going back to try and keeping our Ebon Might up as much as possible here. As it falls off, we go for another recast of it, hover in, stay with my allies, keep the Ebon Might up onto my warrior, spam Eruption, chasing this Warlock into the room. We've got Landslide Root, which can be timed with Upheaval to get a stun, which can be a very satisfying kind of combo that you can pull off here. I see the guy going for a clone. I'm just Verdant Embracing in, trying to give some heals. We're falling behind. We're going to pop Renewing Blaze. We're going to pop our wall. Whenever I dip below like half health or maybe even 80% health in some cases, just immediately going for that. Get a Fire Breath. Here we don't need to really fully charge it because Holy Paladins don't have a lot of buffs to purge. So we can just go for a 1 stack against Holy Paladin, get the dot up and get damage ticking, then focus on getting Blistering Scales where we need it. We're going to go for a Landslide Root, just pin everybody together. I see the Resto Druid being attacked, so we're going to switch our Blistering Scales, and this is what I mean by monitor who's getting attacked. Ebon Might's up. We get kicked. It's going to put us a little behind. We tried to knock the cast there. I don't really know why it didn't go off, but you got a knockback and a knock up. So you want to be taking advantage of those for interrupts when you don't have your normal interrupt available. But now we're just spamming Eruption, keeping that Ebon Might up for the Warrior, getting nice juicy cleave with that Sweeping Strikes, cleaving out instant Living Flames, get a sleep onto the Paladin, force the Trinket, force Hellstone, force a Bop, force pretty much every cooldown that they've got left in the tank here. Moving into the room to get aggressive. Upheaval, going for a multi-charge, just trying to extend the range to try and hit the Paladin. Fire Breath, did not need to fully channel it here, honestly, against the Holy Paladin. I think I just got a little bit excited because it's a super fun ability to just channel to its full duration, but definitely don't need to against Paladin. You'll strip every buff even with 1 or a 2 charge. Maybe you charge it a little longer if they get a Bop or something, just to guarantee that you get it off. Now we're in a bit of trouble, though. We're getting low here. I'm going for Ebon Might. I'm healing myself up. I've got my wall. I'm spamming Living Flame. So with wall and the Obsidian Skills Honor Talent that gives you immune to interrupts, you can use this to Ebon Might and Eruption spam, or you can use it to spam Living Flame on yourself, and you'll be able to basically keep yourself and make yourself unkillable. We get a Rescue Shield up onto myself and the Druid, and now we've pretty much fully recovered. We're getting ready to go for the win, so I'm going to sleep the Holy Paladin who has no Trinket, forces the shield, and we're just going to kill him anyways. You bubbled out of my CC? You think I care? I'm an Augivoker. I don't gotta care about nothing. I don't gotta care about nothing. We're starting the 4th round now with Augmentation, Feral Druid, and Restoration Druid. Just immediately sending this thing. I want it on cooldown so I can get it back fast. Upheaval into tip the Scales Fire Breath. Trinket to make sure that we're getting it off. Figure out who they're attacking so we can put Blistering Scales on that target. Mash out the instant Living Flames as they come out. They're kind of cleaving me in the Feral. I'm anticipating they're going to stay on the Feral. I Renewing Blaze just in case they do continue to chase me. And we've put so much pressure onto this Warlock with our Forced Sacrifice, starting putting him even further behind. Paladin has to wings. He's just dying behind the pillar to like a random bleed or something, I think, at this point. Eruption spam as much as possible to keep up our charge here. Warriors on top of us, not a big deal. We're going to go for a Landslide Route. Unfortunately, we missed the Warrior with it. You definitely want to be hitting the melee DPS with that one. Ebon Might coming up, and we got Eruptions. We're going to keep spamming those. CS is out of the way. Warrior's not on me. Don't need to worry about interrupts. Moving over, sleeping the Paladin. It's on DR. Honestly, not really the best sleep. It does actually put the Warlock a little bit behind, even with just 2 seconds of CC on a Paladin. Any duration is really tough. We go for a DR Bash and actually forces Bubble. Might even kill him through it. Fire Breath comes through. Big hit of damage. Ebon Might is still up from earlier. We're trying to go for Eruptions. We get Searing Glared. Here we're going to have to focus on defense, so I'm going to likely Verdant Embrace or rescue an ally away after our pressure has fallen, or I don't have Ebon Might. We're focusing on Verdant Embrace. We're focusing on assisting with heals and the like, and potentially defensive Living Flames as well. Living Flame to heal your allies in this type of situation when everyone's low is really good. Like, you can just carry, you can just keep the team alive where other classes wouldn't be able to, and it's one of the main reasons that you're going to be able to climb so successfully with this specialization. So I definitely recommend paying attention to your allies' HP and just spamming Living Flame to heal them. If you get kicked, you can cast pretty much anything else, so it doesn't really matter. We get a clone here onto the Holy Paladin, and we're hovering back to my Feral Druid. Goal is to just keep the team alive, because eventually you're going to get that one-shot breath coming through. We go for an Upheaval into a Fire Breath, big damage on the lock, clone over onto the Warrior, spamming on Eruptions. Honestly, not a good idea here to use Eruption. I don't have Ebon Might up. It would be better to Living Flame if you don't have Ebon Might up, because now I'm going to have Ebon Might and I don't have any Essence to spend. So something to take into consideration, even just as feedback towards my own play, is don't spend all your Essence before Ebon Might is up, because you might not be able to keep Ebon Might going very long if you do that. Just spam Living Flame instead. Living Flames is a really good ability to spam, period, because even if you get kicked, you can do so much else in the meantime. Blessing Protection is up. We could Fire Breath purge this off, but the Feral Druid's already kind of moving moving away. Actually, we didn't have Fire Breath for one more second. Switching that Blistering Scales over to the Feral Druid. He's been kind of the main target. We're getting ready to fly through. We got that knock up into Upheaval stun, which is really fun. Upheaval into Landslide Root, into a Maim stun, into Fire Breath. We're flying through. Tips of Scales is not even up, and I don't even have Upheaval. I'm just sending damage, just shipping Living Flames with this, which isn't the most ideal burst rotation in this situation, but with how low they were, I really just wanted to commit for the kill, and it ultimately ends up working out. So even with a little bit of messy plays, you're still going to be able to win games. It's really new player friendly. Just focus on the one shot like I covered at the beginning of the video. Focus on paying attention to your allies' HP, and that Blistering Scales is always up on the target that is being attacked. And don't be afraid to just mash the crap out of Living Flame to heal your allies, or just on DPS, because if you get kicked, it's not a big deal. And Obsidian Scales with Honor Talent with the Aura Mastery is really powerful for keeping Ebon Might up, and it's quite that simple. You got those basics together, you're going to be pushing up to 2400. You're going to be getting all those rewards before they're gone. So if you enjoy this type of content, you want to stay up to date with everything related to World of Warcraft, as I'm relaying, I'm going to be doing 10.2 reviews to keep you up to date on what the best looking specializations are, and you probably don't want to miss out on that. Smash the subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video.